it's February's contribution from my son, guys. And I know they seem back to back, but I'll explain in a bit. Imtiti, I guess it's like entity. So this I did choose. And there's a couple of things that caught my attention about this. One step gel polish. And as you can see, here's a picture of it. And you know what? I wonder if these are actual size, because the box does say that they're 10 milliliter. And I actually think that that's pretty good, because 10 milliliters is pretty much the size of, like for example, this Kusari. And you know what? These shaped bottles are not all the same size either. This is a 10 milliliter. And I'd say maybe like regular polish, the typical size for regular polish is probably about 10 milliliter. And this is a good size one, because these do come in different sizes. So I thought that this was a pretty good amount to have in these, right? 10 milliliters. And I had to come back and edit this in, because what I was meaning to say was I wondered if this was, and they should have put it on the box if this was actual size. And if I put this up against it, it actually is the actual size of the gel polish in here. So I thought that was pretty cool. They should at least put that on. And the fact that they're one step. One of the things that this is marketed based on is the idea that you don't need base coat or top coat for these. So we're gonna open this up. I'm so excited about it. So yeah, we're just trying different things that we come across and then just showing them to you. And that way, and this is what it looks like. Oh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Oh, beautiful colors. You know what? I knew what the colors were going to be. I was thinking this was going to be a little more on the blue side, but that's okay. That's fine too. But I love the array of colors here, especially that they have a few nudes. I like that pink. This red is really nice. One of the things that drew me to this is the fact that they're polish pens, because I do have plans on putting this in my travel bag. But the fact that they come in these tubes, and the tips of these are brushes as opposed to many of the other ones that I've seen in the past, almost like these cuticle pens, you know, where you click it like that, you know, to get the product to feed out to the brush. And so this being different, I wanted to try, because this would be more of an what am I trying to say here? This would be more of an immediate, you know what I mean. It would be more of like a immediate feed straight to the brush. So that's why I got it. So let's take these out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I love it. I like the way it's packaged. It's so neat. I mean, it's like, what else is there to put in there, because it's considered to be one step. And the idea behind this being one step is that they don't require any base coat or top coat, guys. Look at that. I think this is pretty cool. I really do. Let's take a look at these. Do they have names on them? Because we are opening them. This is my first time. Oh, I was getting ready to say the name of this one is patented. So funny. Okay, so they don't have names. They have numbers. So this is 1. And then let me switch them around according to the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is 1, and let me show you what I mean. It's a brush on. Wait a minute. Did that just come loose? No. It just slid for a quick second, so I thought maybe it was loose, but it doesn't feel like it to the touch. I don't know what made it do that. And this is the reason why I chose it, because instead of that like narrow pen tip, it had the brush tip on it. So, and that feels really nice. I'm thinking this is going to polish pretty well. The other thing that I understand about these is they're pretty well pigmented, and I understand that they're easy to polish. Now there were some negative reviews on it, but there were also some fair reviews, so I figured, you know what, let me get this and show it to you guys. Okay, so my son got this. Pretty cool, isn't it? One of the things that I did notice in some of the reviews, people were, a couple of people, it's a nice thickness of polish, but they were saying that the wear on it wasn't very well. My thing though is as I was watching some videos, what I was noticing in particular was that some people were not putting it on the natural nail. They market this to be straight on the natural nail, and like I was saying, it doesn't require base coat or top coat, because you really should follow the instructions according to what they say if you're going to do a fair test on the product. How to use: file and clean your natural nail surface, apply the one-step gel, nothing about base coat. Okay, and then you can also apply another layer if you want a fuller color, and just cure. Nothing about top coat. You just put it straight on the nail, and that's exactly what we're going to do here today. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I showed you that, just so that you know I'm going to use it according to what this, exactly what it says, because somebody, I don't know who it was, they actually had an enhancement on and it wasn't polishing very well. So let me just briefly explain why I'm set up the way that I am. I am going to do swatches, so I will be using full coverage nail tips, and that's just for you guys to see the colors out of the tube. And then what I'm going to do is for the wear test, and I'm back to having my problems, guys, so I got the gloves back on. I cut my gloves so that I could use these 3 fingers. So I'm going to do according to the instructions and polish it on my natural nails. I'll prep them off camera, but I'll polish it on my natural nails, and then I'm going to keep this on just to do the wear test and then give you guys an update eventually. Okay, so let's start with color number 1. It's my first. I haven't opened it, and you can tell by the fact that the brush is still clean. I am trying to figure out how much to squeeze out, but I also wanted to explain the instructions that came off of the web page, so you don't twist like you would do the other ones. I imagine it's just a squeeze out. Yeah, it is, and I could see it coming through, and there it is loading onto the brush. Let me get it up close so you guys could see. Can you see that? Yeah. Now I don't know how much to load onto the brush, but what it says on the web page, and let me pick this up and put it closer, it says that if you load too much, and I would do this anyway, to start at the lower edge of the nail, which I don't have too much on here, but I'm just explaining it for sake of how they showed it. To start at the lower edge like that, and then work your way up to spread it evenly. And it is thick, and it is very pigmented. Look at that. Look at that, guys. And yeah, a lot of it is starting to come out, and it's not too hard to squeeze out. This is pretty convenient, it seems, for now anyway. That's a nice color too, isn't it? I was checking to see. So the curing time for this in an LED lamp, it's 30 to 60 seconds, and in a UV lamp, if there's even any of those still around, most of them are combination lamps, but I would imagine there's still UV lamps around, 2 to 4 minutes. And I would imagine that depends on what the wattage is that you have on your lamp. Look at how nice and evenly that polishes. Now what's happening here is if you squeeze too hard, more is going to continue to come out, and it suggests for you to just take that excess and start your next nail with it. You know what I say about 1 coat coverage, I usually still do 2, but I'm actually almost feeling here like this is definitely a 1 coat coverage. You know, these tubes, they have to be opaque if this is a gel polish, so they matched it pretty well with the tube, right? So I'm gonna cure that. But typically, if I was doing the same color through the nail set, you would take this excess and you would put it on the next nail. But because it's not going to go back in the tube, I'm just going to wipe it clean. And I'm just going to recap it after I clean my brush off. So far, so good. So we'll cure that. You know what I was thinking? That's actually a pretty big span of curing time, isn't it? I'm thinking it probably says that, keeping in mind that everybody's lamp wattage is not the same. If that is the case, then I'm thinking, wow, pretty cool for them to keep that in mind. So there's me squeezing some of it out, and I'm gonna start on the lower edge and then work my way up with it. And it spreads real smooth, guys. The thing about these is it says that it is, there's no yellowing. It doesn't yellow. And the other thing is it says that it leaves a glass-like finish. So we'll see that in these swatches at least, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do maybe this one and speed it up, or the next one and speed it up. But in the meantime, I was saying that this seems close together because I had just recently did the nail haul of the Beatles polish that my son purchased, and the thing about that was that I held on to it but before I even did the video. He bought those earlier in January, and I don't think I did that haul until last week or something like that. So we're gonna gap them out. We're trying to decide how frequently to do the nail hauls from what he gets. Just spread that on. If the brush is loaded a little more, it's very, very easy and smooth to polish, guys. So far I'm liking it. I think I'm gonna do 2 coats off camera, and then I'll clean that brush off before I put the cap back on, and I'll cure this 30 to 60 seconds. I did remember what I was going to talk about while I was doing this, so I'm going to do one more and then I'll speed it up, and then I'll do my natural nails. Those yellow polygel nails I did a removal, and I didn't record it because if you remember, I did it on my non-dominant hand. And do you guys know what it's like to do a removal on your non-dominant hand, especially with... It was because those rhinestones were on there so well, so I'm pretty proud because if you guys remember, some of you guys have been following me for a while. If you remember, I actually did a video about using base coat to adhere your rhinestones, and yeah, that works out really well. So I had a hard time getting those stones off, and then when they were coming up, they were popping off everywhere. They were like pew 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 everywhere, all across the room. I had to go hunt them down. Oh, one of the things that I do want to point out before it's sped up is there is an underside that the polish comes out from. So if you notice, here's the top side. So be mindful. Well, I guess once the color gets on there, it may be hard to tell, but if you look closely, you can tell where the polish is coming from. So this is the underside. So this is how it looks, and I think that the color representation of the tubes is pretty accurate to the polish colors, don't you think? One of the things that was addressed, somebody said that it left a sticky inhibition layer, so I've got on rubber gloves, and that would be a good test for it. It does feel like maybe, so I would imagine that probably has No, not really. Let me try another color. I think that's the rubber glove, so let me try with my finger. No, not really. No. And then it says that it leaves a shine, a nice shine, just as if it has a top coat on. And I think it looks pretty nice. I actually do like them. So let me just do a quick assessment. If there's not enough polish on the brush, it does have a tendency to feel like it's polishing thick, so you do have to load the brush well enough. They did squeeze kind of firmly, but actually that's a good thing because you don't want a polish just running right out. So it has to be that way so it doesn't continue to, it doesn't just like run out of the tube. So that makes sense. So you do have to load the brush. If you load it well, it'll polish very easy. I cured these for 60 seconds. This is the second coat. I did that off camera, guys. I actually like them. A couple of things as a precaution. If these are just going to stay on your desk, then there's nothing really to worry about. As I mentioned before, I plan to put this in my travel case. If you're going to keep these in a travel case, because I really do think that they're really good for on the go. You put on a color, and the fact that you don't have to do 3-4 steps, the base coat, the top coat. Think about how much time that saves. So the precaution is they should be contained in something, because you don't want them flipping around inside your bag and something squeezes it and then you go open it and you've got an overspill of polish. So I would be looking for something to put them in, to contain them in. I think they're pretty convenient. You could even use them for a quick nail service, which is what I also plan to use them for from time to time. Visiting someone, hey, let me do your nails, and then just do a set for them. So I actually like these. I like the colors. I like the convenience. Yeah, it feels different against my rubber gloves. So yeah, I don't feel an inhibition layer. And look at the finish on them, guys. I actually like them. Okay, so now the wear test comes, and I will be putting it on these 3 nails. I'm gonna prep them real quick, and I'm gonna put, I don't know what color, I'll choose a color. I'll put them on these 3 nails and keep them on for as long as I need to until it starts wearing, so we know how long they last. Okay guys, so this is the color that I chose, and I'll explain why. Because this is the darkest of the colors that came in this kit. I wanted to see, since you're not using base coat, I wanted to see if this was going to stain. So that's yet another thing to find out about these polishes, right? So I'm going to put this on. My nails have been prepped. I didn't use any dehydrator, no primer, nothing. It just says to clean your nail surface and to put this on. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So, what do you think of these gel polish pens? And I'll be sure to give you an update soon. Do you think you might consider them? If so, I definitely hope this was helpful for you and you enjoyed this unboxing and want to see more like it. You'll find nail hauls and PR unboxings by clicking this link. Thank you for spending your time with me, and remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so you'll know each time I upload. And I hope to see you in the next one. Much love.